NickDaGreek here today. I just started making a video and I was fusing Ifrit, and in the middle of the whole thing it said network delay, and then I saw the fusion didn't happen. So it's a good thing it didn't happen. So anyways, everybody and their mothers has been waiting for this island to come, Isle of Conquest. All right, this is the new guild battles. Now we're not going to talk about guild battles. We're going to do a monster review, and we're gonna fuse Ifrit and ruin him. So this is what we are gonna do. I had him ready. I already know people with 6-star maxed Ifrits. I was busy today. I couldn't do it so early in the morning. You gotta have a life other than Summoner's War, you know. So let's fuse Ifrit. Hopefully it won't fail on me like before. There we go. So we got Ifrit. Oh, look at him. He's looking good over there. Record it. Make sure they know. So now, we're going to go take a look at our new toy, which would be Ifrit. So let's take a look at his skills, by the way. And he's good, actually. We'll go attacks with magical powers and inflicts continuous damage for 2 turns with a 50% chance. The damage increases according to speed. So you want attack speed for him. Then, attacks all enemies and stuns them with a 30% chance. The damage is proportionate to my max hit points. So you want hit points for him. Fine. And then, removes 1 harmful effect on all allies every turn. Inability effects included. And recovers the hit points by 15% if you succeed in removing a harmful effect. It doesn't mean he's not going to remove a harmful effect. It means that if your ally doesn't have a harmful effect, nothing happens. He won't heal them. He won't do anything. So just make sure you know that. Now, this passive does not work on freeze and stuns. Stuff like that. So I thought it would. It's just, he would have been a little OP, so it's okay. So let's go on to ruining him. So I already looked around for ruins. I have this speed plus 17. That's the reason why I'm putting it on him. Then I have this one. Let's see if we can get a little more speed out of it. No, but this is a good enough rune. So speed plus 9 on it. All right. Now I have this swift rune. Let's see if I could get anything better. No. Crit damage, accuracy, crit rate. No. So let's just put the 6-star speed rune on him. Grave. Boom. Oh, we don't have a slot 1. I didn't even... Does this one? Hit point plus 18%? No. No. That's a little bit of a killer. I thought I had it, but anyways. So I'm going to take this rune off of Hua. Now, Hua is not going to remain without a rune. I'm just going to remove it for now. I have another rune to put on her. It doesn't have speed on the substat, though. Where is Ifrit now? So we got this one. Alright. Now, nope. Oh, there we go. This one. Alright. This one doesn't have any speed substats, but it's what I have. So, you want to ruin Ifrit with speed, hit point, hit point. So, grave. So now I need a slot 1 swift rune with some speed on it. What did I do with my slot 1 swift runes? I know I had some. I don't know what I did with them though. I got this one over here, but it's got no speed. It's got hit points on it though, which is it's got a nice hit point substat on it. So that one might end up going on him. Nope. I don't want Not that one. Nope. Okay. Alright, so we're not going to get optimal speed out of it, but I guess we're going to end up putting this one. We get that nice hit point. 50,000 mana. Great. Anyway. We get that nice hit point. This is temporary, all these runes that I'm putting on. I'm sure I'll get some nicer runes to put on him. Let's fix Hua before I forget. Yeah. Put an attack percentage rune on her. Because we're going to start farming with Hua again. See, this whole thing with Ifrit now. Oh, I had a rune to put on her. I didn't have to take that one off. Anyway, okay. Crit rate resistance. There's no accuracy on it though. Okay. I actually like what they did now with Ifrit, because now you could start using Fire Vamp. You can make a nice B10 Giants team. So speed plus 19. This rune is gonna max out at 42 speed, so we'll get an extra 23 speed. So what is his speed right now? Plus 78 and 23. We'll max out 81, 101. We'll have 200 speed on him. That's not bad. And let's see what happens with effect accuracy by 25%. That's not bad. So let's awaken him. Cool, right? We got Veromos. How many Devilmon? 6 and 6. He needs 12 Devilmon. Wow. So it goes up to 60% the stun. And the speed goes up to, and the continuous damage goes up to 75%, which isn't bad. Oh, I forgot to mention, increases the hit points of ally monsters by 33%. That's not bad either. It's a nice leader skill. And it's everywhere. It works everywhere. So that's a good thing. Let's move on to the new monsters. Now, we'll start off with fire. We have 3 new fire monsters, 3 new fire 3-stars. The Penguin Knight. Oh, you know what? Let's go to the Awakened state so we can see all the skills. We have the Penguin Knight. Naki. Charges to attack and stuns the enemy for 1 turn with a 20% chance. Whatever. Removes one of your harmful effects and charges to attack the enemy. Okay. Provokes the enemy for 2 turns with a 75% chance. Becomes invincible for 1 turn. Increases hit points of ally monsters with fire attribute by 30%. You know what? As a mid-game monster, low to mid-game, I don't see him as a higher-end monster. He's really not that great. As a mid-game monster, I'm sure he'll do fine. Try him out with Swift runes, I guess. Because I don't see anything. Removes 1 harmful effect. You could try him out with Violent. Violent always works too. Either, I don't see a very high base attack. I don't see anything too great about this Penguin Knight over here. Let's move on to the Mammoth. Charges towards the enemy to inflict damage and provokes for 1 turn with a 50% chance. So he's a tank pretty much. I can see that already. He's got a high base hit points for a max 4-star Awakened. Stops to attack all enemies and decreases attack gauge by 25% with a 50% chance. The damage is proportionate to my max hit points. Again, this is a hit point monster. Attacks with another ally and weakens the defense for 2 turns. With 75% chance, the damage is proportionate to my max hit points. So you pretty much want to get some accuracy going with him. And hit points. I would probably try all energy on him. His base speed is low. He's really for a low grade monster. He's low to mid game. He's not a great monster. He increases the defense of ally monsters with fire attribute by 30%. Yeah, he's not really that great. So this is an exclusive monster. You can only get her from guild battles. I looked at her skills. Increases effect accuracy. I didn't see anything special. Shoots 2 times and decreases the enemy's attack speed for 2 turns with a 30% chance. Attacks all enemies in all directions 30% chances. 30% is added to the critical rate. Attacks the enemy with an explosive bullet and stuns all enemies with 50% chance. Her attack isn't very high, but she's also 4-star, and I don't see anything too special with her. She's more of a Blade Rage monster because of this skill right here. I don't see anything too special with her. She's, again, a low-end monster, low to mid-game. That's about it. This guy actually looks pretty cool. Surtur, or whatever. What's their unawakened? What are they called, unawakened? Let's see. Where is he? Right here. The Barbaric King. Okay. So anyway, let's take a look at his skills. Attacks the enemies twice with the axe and inflicts continuous damage for 1 turn with a 50% chance attack. Okay. Throws an axe at all enemies and stuns them for 1 turn with a 25% chance for each attack. Attacks the enemy with an axe. The damage is increased by 50% if the target's hit points is below 50%. Increases critical rate by 15%. Now you see, some people would say put Despair Runes on him, which you can because of that AoE, but Despair Runes only proc on the first turn. If you, let's say like this skill right here, he throws an axe at all enemies, alright, it'll probably proc. This one right here, if he doesn't stun on his first turn, he's not stunning on his second turn. So I wouldn't waste a Despair set. Plus he only has 1 attacks the enemy with an axe. Yeah, he only has 1 AoE. Honestly, the reason why I'm going to suggest this is because his critical rate gets increased. So he starts off with 30% crit rate. I'd put Blade Rage on him, just because he starts off with 30% crit rate. Go all attack, crit damage, attack, and Blade Rage. It's going to be easy to get him to 50-60% crit rate. It shouldn't really be a huge problem. He already starts with 30%. So let's take a look at Brandia. This is the Polar Queen. This I've been waiting to see. She looks a little OP. Attacks the enemy to inflict damage and weakens the defense for 2 turns with a 30% chance. Okay. Creates a shield that's proportionate to your level to protect all allies for 2 turns and weakens the attack power of all enemies for 2 turns with an 80% chance. That's that's a little eccentric over there. That's a lot. Attacks the enemy with an attack where the damage is increased by 30% for each harmful effect of the enemy. Removes up to 2 harmful effects of the enemy when the attack is over. Okay. See, a monster like this would be good with a big CC team. Increases the hit points of ally monsters by 44%. That's a nice leader skill. Increases attack speed by 15. With her, you can probably go Violent Runes, Violent Energy, or Violent Focus. I would guess Focus. Her attack speed is pretty okay. She has the same attack speed as Chloe. Because of that leader ability, I'd probably go Violent, though, with her. Guys, you gotta remember, I'm speculating everything because I haven't tested out these monsters. Normally, I get information, I test them out, stuff like that. So, I could be wrong. I'm not gonna say I'm always right. So, we got Toma, the Water Penguin Knight. Charges the attack. Okay, we know this. Removes one of your harmful effects and charges to attack the enemy. Okay. Gathers power for a strong, fast charge. The critical rate increases to 100% if the enemy's defense is weakened. Alright. Increases, okay. Okay, he gains that skill. And these monsters have a leader ability. I really don't see them working too great. And this one, you need a monster with him for this skill to go 100%. You need a monster with him that puts weakened defense. I'd put Blade Rage on him. I mean, yeah, I would do Blade Rage on him because of this, the 100% critical attack chance. There's no There's no other build I could think of with him. Charges towards the enemy to inflict damage and provoke 1 turn with a 50%. Okay, this is a tank. Recovers the hit points of all allies with an energizing roar and increases the defense for 2 turns. The recovery amount is proportionate to my max HP. Oh, wow. Okay. Decreases the inflicted damage by half if the damage is less than 20% of my max HP. Alright, let's talk about this one. Somebody was saying that you're going to be seeing him in the arena a lot. I still don't think he's a late game monster. It depends on his base hit points as a 6-star max. He looks like he has a decent amount of base hit points now. Let me take a look. This is how I figure it out. Yeah, he has a higher base hit points than Rena. And people are saying he's going to be like another Rena and stop Lucian, or Lucian won't be able to kill him with his amputation magic. The thing is, if you have a decent Lucian and he's doing 7,000 to 8,000 per hit on his amputation magic, you need 40,000 hit points for this guy to do it. And he's already pretty slow. What are you going to do? You're going to build him all energy? I don't see him in late game at all, guys. I really don't. I strongly disagree with it. I could be wrong, but I strongly disagree with it. Let's move on. Of course. Anyway. Shoots 2 times and decreases the enemy's attack speed. Okay. Attacks all enemies in all directions. 30% is added to the critical rate. Shoots the enemy 6 times with miraculous speed and decreases the attack gauge by 10% with a 75% chance for each attack. Increase. Blade Rage, guys. It's going to be easy to get her crit rate up high, and her attack is actually pretty high. A base attack of 404 as a 4-star maxed. It's not that great, but it's not that bad either. So, Blade Rage. I still wouldn't try summoning her, though. And the only way you could get her is from the guild shop. I don't see her as a late game monster. I could be wrong. You know, guild battles, you guys got to remember, is going to be a whole different territory, a whole different ball game. So, everybody has to adjust. Attacks the enemy twice with the axe and inflicts continuous damage for 1 turn with a 50% chance for each attack. Attacks the enemy by hurling an axe of wrath and increases your attack gauge by 50%. Attacks the enemy 2 times and steals 1 beneficial effect with a 75% chance for each attack. So they made something like Joffrey, the Fire Viking, in a water version. Increases effect accuracy. I mean, he doesn't seem great, but he doesn't seem so bad either. His attack is pretty low, 533. I don't know why he's an attack monster. He has an okay hit point pool over there. Base hit points. I can see him for dragons. Yeah, I could see him as a farmer in dragons. I'm not too sure about arena. I'm not 100% sure about a late game monster. But you know what? Just because of this skill, this 3rd skill over here, 4-turn cooldown, it'll probably go down to 3. I'd put Violent. And yeah, he'd be more of a utility, like a farming monster or something. Attacks the enemy, increases your attack gauge by 50%. Yeah. I'd put Violent Runes on him just because he increases his own attack gauge too. And it's a 3-turn. It'll probably be a 2-turn cooldown. Yeah. I'd put Violent Runes. Go speed, hit point, and try and use him as a farmer. Again, these are new monsters. I really don't see how they're gonna work how he's gonna work in arena. So let's go on. Did we? 1 second, guys. I'm sorry. I'm going backwards here. I didn't even talk about Tessarion, did I? I talked about her and I skipped him. I'm sorry, guys. Attacks with magical continue. Okay, fine, based on attack speed. Attacks the enemy 3 times with magic and weakens defense for 2 turns. With a 25% chance for each attack. Okay. This is a passive. Increases the damage inflicted on enemies with harmful effects by 20%. And makes an enemy, bosses excluded, oblivious for 2 turns with each attack. Passive skills aren't activated in oblivion state. Alright. Increases resistance, increases effect accuracy. I don't really see anything great about him right now. Attacks the enemy with 3 times. Okay. You need to build a team around him just to get this passive to work properly for you. I'd say swift focus, maybe. Not too fast, but you want him pretty quick. I don't see the reason for violent. 3 turns. This probably goes down to a 2-turn cooldown. Yeah, I'd say it's swift focus for him. So we're up to the Water Polar Queen, correct? Attacks the enemy to inflict damage and weakens defense for 2 turns with a 30% chance. Attacks all enemies with a powerful storm. The damage increases proportionate to the enemy's attack speed. Okay. So I'm guessing the faster the enemy is, it hits harder. Somebody's gonna have to correct me on that one. Attacks all enemies with ice pillars. Gains another turn instantly if the enemy dies. I'd go violent with her. Yeah, I'd go violent with her. Do violent. Yeah. Ooh. You know what? Actually, I'm sorry. Blade Rage with her. Either you know what? You can go violent with her though. Her speed is pretty low though. You could go violent. Attack, crit damage, attack. Increases attack power of ally monsters in the arena by 44%. She's not so bad. I'd go violent with her. Violent blade. Attack, crit damage, attack. She's gonna start off with a 30% crit rate. That's great. I would do that. A violent blade. Just because of that extra turn. The whole thing with the extra turn, you can end up getting a lot of turns because of that. Attacks with magical powers and inflicts continuous damage for 2 turns with a 50% chance. The damage increases according to attack speed. Attacks the enemy 3 times with magic and weakens the defense for 2 turns with a 25% chance for each attack. Okay. Gets attribute advantage whenever you attack the enemy. So he has a nice base attack. Let's see what his Blade Rage, guys. Yep. Increases. I would go Blade Rage with this one. He has an okay base attack, but Blade Rage seems like the way to go with him. Let's move on. Rambling for 22 minutes already. Wow. Awakened State. Charges to attack and stuns the enemy for 1 turn with a 20% chance. Recovers your hit points by 15% and provokes the enemy for 1 turn with a 75% chance. Removes one of your harmful effects and charges the enemy. Once again, I really don't see this monster going anywhere. He's just a low to mid-game monster. That's it. Almost the same with him. Charges towards the enemy to inflict... Yeah. Stomps to attack all enemies. Decreases the attack gauge by 25% with a 50% chance. The damage is proportionate to my max HP. Again, this is a tank. Increases... Increases the attack gauge of all allies by 40% and removes all harmful effects. You know what? He's not so bad. He's really not so bad. So if you have a whole team that's stunned or frozen or something like that, he can actually save you. You know, he isn't great, but he's not so bad. I'd give him a chance. I'd probably try and make him a little faster, put swift energy on him, tank him out a little bit, but do all hit points, or you could do speed, hit point. But because of this 3rd skill, he's really not so bad. He's not bad at all. He's not great, but he's not bad. Again, the cowgirl. Attacks the enemy 2 times with holy bullets and removes 1 harmful effect. Disturbs hit point recovery for 2 turns with a 50% chance for each attack. Okay. Attacks all enemies by riding a whirlwind. 50% chance. 50 this one. I thought it was 30 the other ones. Anyways. Increases attack speed by 15. Wow, she has a high attack speed, 117. You know what? You could build her Blade Rage, or you could build her Swift Rage. Swift Blade, I'm sorry. Attack, crit damage, attack. You could do either or. Maybe you want her to attack a little more often. Blade Rage might be better. I still don't see her being a great monster, so it is what it is with her, but she's not so bad either. Attacks the enemy twice with the axe, okay. Attacks the enemy by hurling an axe of wrath and increases your attack gauge by 50%. Becomes enraged and attacks all enemies. 10% of your hit points is consumed, but the critical rate is 100%. Increases resistance by 25%. Why do they go like this with this monster? And he doesn't have a high base attack. His hit points seem okay, but they don't seem that great. You want to go Blade Rage with him? You can go Blade Rage with him because of this skill right here. But yeah, that's the best suggestion. I'm not too thrilled with him, to be honest with you. I'm not thrilled with him at all. Attacks the enemy to inflict damage and weakens the defense for 2 turns with a 30% chance. Attacks all enemies with a powerful storm. The damage increases proportionate to the enemy's attack speed. I still have to figure out what this means over here. If the enemy is faster, she hits harder. I'm not 100% sure. Removes all harmful and beneficial effects of all allies and enemies and increases the attack gauge of all allies by 30%. This effect can't be resisted. Okay. So I guess it's something like a complete reset. Increases resistance by 25%. I mean, I could see it working. Her base speed isn't that great, but she's a little tanky. 11,850 hit points. Her attack is not that good. Defense 626 doesn't really matter. I'd go violent with her. Violent focus, I guess. Well, does she need focus? Yeah, you could do violent focus. You could do violent energy also. So we already know this puts dots, and it's proportionate to attack speed. Attacks all enemies and stuns them with a 30% chance. The damage is proportionate to my max HP. Okay. Emits magical energy to attack all enemies. The damage increases by 20% for each harmful effect on the enemy. Again, you have to build a team around him. Yep. Because you need to put as many harmful effects as possible. Increases critical rate by 15%. Rage Blade, just because it's easier to get these monsters to hit harder when they have that extra 15%. Let's see his base attack. And his base attack is actually pretty good. So, not good, not great, but it's okay. 812. So, Rage Blade for him. I may have to cut this video short, guys, but then again, there's not certain monsters. Alright. Charges to attack and stuns the enemy. Awakened state, guys. Awakened state. Removes one of your harmful effects of all allies and increases attackers by at least 15%. The attack gauge is increased additionally by 5% for... This isn't so bad. It's not that great. Still, I really don't like this guy. Me personally. That's my personal opinion. I'm not too thrilled with him. Stomps to attack all enemies and decreases the attack gauge by 25% with a 50% chance. Okay, he's a tank really. Inflicts great damage and everything is according to his max HP. You might be able to put Blade Rage on him. Everything is Blade Rage today. Inflicts great damage by crashing into the enemy. The damage proportionate to my max HP. I'd still tank him out though. Try and do yeah, you could do all energy, you could do Rage Blade. It depends on what you like with these guys. These guys are pretty much tanks. I'm not too thrilled with these guys at all. To be honest with you, it just boggles my mind and I want to stop thinking about it. Attacks the target enemy to make the attack gauge 0 and stuns the enemy for 1 turn. Attacks the enemy by hurling an axe and increases your attack gauge by 50%. You want to build him Rage Blade. I really don't find anything great about him. There's nothing really that great about him. Creates a shield that's proportionate to your level. Protects all allies for 2 turns. Oh, this one. And this is... yeah, alright. Recovers the turn of an ally instantly and decreases the cool time by 2 turns. The target's hit points will be decreased by 50%. That can be brutal. So she's a support monster. What does she get? Increases attack speed by 15%. By 15. You could go violent focus with her, I believe. Yeah. You could go violent focus. You could go swift focus. I'm not too thrilled with her, to be honest with you, either. You gotta understand, there's a new meta coming. There's new meta of the game coming right now, so everything is not set in stone. Recovers the hit points by 50% and provokes the enemy. Okay. Attacks the enemy by yourself and attacks all enemies additionally by 1 time. Yeah, he's fodder. Don't even bother. Inflicts damage to all enemies proportionate to my defense and decreases the attack gauge by 35%. Recovers the hit points of all allies. Alright. Another tank. 30% hit point buff. I mean, you could use him for the ability, for the leader ability, but other than that, I really don't see how it works with him. Attacks the enemy twice with an axe and inflicts him. Throws an axe at all enemies and stuns them for 1 turn with a 25% chance, which isn't that great. Attacks the enemy with a rage. The cool time resets and gains the turn with a 25% chance. He's a violent monster, guys. Yeah, I would go on with him. Increases resistance. Really, he's the only one that doesn't get a crit rate. So, I'd go violent with him. Violent attack damage, attack, or attack crit damage attack. His is a little higher. I really, yeah, that's the best I can think. Just because of this skill right here, I'd go violent with him. Either violent, you could go Fatal Blade or Rage Blade. Fatal Blade is not really suggested anymore. Attacks the enemy to inflict damage and weakens the defense. Oh, alright, we've read this skill a million times. Attacks all enemies with a powerful storm. The damage increases proportionate. Again, I'm not 100% sure on how that's going to work. If the enemy's faster, she hits harder. I'm not 100% sure. Attacks the enemy to inflict great damage and leaves a cursing brand. The inflicted damage on the target with the brand is increased by 25%. Okay. You could go Rage Blade with her. Her attack is okay. It's not the greatest. So I'd go Rage Blade with her, with this one right here. So guys, we already saw Ifrit. I already awakened him and everything. We already know Swift Focus is the way to go. I would show you guys him in action, but we're pretty much done with the video. Thank you very much. Please subscribe. Have a good one.